This episode of Says Who. I suddenly got all coffee. This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again. You get me and Maureen doing a little thing that we call the Town Watch, which is basically this, but a half an hour, a little looser. You get that if you give it the $5 or $10 a month level. That extra $5 also gets you a sticker in the mail because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club, the best club, the only club we have. So there's that too. Anyway, all that is available to you at patreon.com/sayswho. I accidentally just pushed my chair over.
Well, hi, I'm Maureen Johnson, and I write books. You like books? You can buy them. In fact, as I've been going around England, I've been signing books at some stores that you could just pick up and buy. So Waterstones Piccadilly, Waterstones Guildford, and Foyles in London, I've signed all the copies that are in those stores. So if you happen to be around those stores, you can buy them. They'll sell them to you for money. You can exchange goods for money at those establishments.
Look at that.
And if you want to pre-order You Are the Detective, The Creeping Hand Murder, the book that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
You can do so you can pre-order from any store that sells books. If you pre-order from your local independent bookstore, you're just doing a good deed. And if you order from the Mystery Bookshop in New York City, we will sign that book for you. We will, it'll be great. Be great.
I love it. I love it. If you would like to order Maureen or any other books, you can always go to kickbezosintheballs.org. That's our own little bookshop where we also sell books. So go do that. And if you're buying things on the internet, you can always go to merch.sayswhopodcast.com, which is our own little merch store. Or you could go to shop.dansinker.com, which is my little merch store where I sell some patches and things like that. Anyway, the internet, you can buy things there. Oi, hello, Maureen.
Hello, English friend. It's been a while since I was here.
Oh, Pip, you're all ghosty.
I think this accent you're doing is pretty offensive, to be honest with you, but we'll ride with it. Now, sit down, I have a tale to tell you, for I haven't seen you since December.
Oh, yeah, let me... Oh, wait, I just switched voices.
I don't know.
Let me get a cup of tea.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't either.
Stay English, though, for God's sakes.
I couldn't. It's suddenly my head. I can't hear it anymore.
Well,
it's okay,
I don't know if you were
English.
I don't know if you were hearing it to begin with, but whatever, guy. I got stuff to tell you. See, a lot of shit's gone down in the last 6 months, which is why I've turned into a ghost with chains. That's right.
Pip.
Have you heard the news from America? I bet you've heard some news, but you haven't heard it from the inside. So why don't we sit here at the pub, which you were trying to have a nice time in the sunshine, and I'll describe every single thing that's going on while you're trying to have a nice time.
That sounds brilliant.
Have you heard about alligator Alcatraz? Do you want to know that our stated national policy now is that we pick people off the streets and feed them to alligators? I'm turning into the Saturday Night Live announcer. Dan Aykroyd, Gilda Radner.
Turns out you're bad at voices. Cheerio.
We're good at this. Oh, hey, special musical guest. The Finsbury Trio with Clyde Klongs on drums. I don't know.
Maybe we should just play the music. Pip, pip.
I feel great. Welcome to Says Who, the podcast that, oh, my tea's finally here. Been waiting on my.
Man, you are in England.
Oh, did I get 2 bickies? Oh, shut your mouth. Put those right there. Thank you, Oscar. What's that one? What's this one? Is that a Garibaldi?
No, chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip? It's still kind of a malformed chocolate chip, though. Can you put that there on the tea tray? That's great. Thanks so much. Thank you. Was it any problem bringing the tea for me having the tea up there?
No.
Okay, great. Sorry, Dan. I just gotta have a little. 4 p.m. tea and biscuits.
Oh man, that's the way to go.
Camera's off, but you can see I have a mug of tea, 1 kind of coconut drizzle, 1 chocolate chip cookie, and at 6 p.m. drinks are served.
Dude, that's the life.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Let me
getting
tell you
some
something.
teas and cookies.
Nice cup of tea.
Your tea time interrupted our introduction. The podcast, it isn't a podcast, it's a coping strategy. I am Dan Sinker.
And it's tea time. I'm Maureen Johnson. Sorry, guys. I've been waiting on my tea.
It's tea time because Maureen has left a flooded New York City. You actually left ahead of the floods.
I did.
You are in the United Kingdom.
I am. You want me to tell you about it?
I would love to know about it.
Dan, you took the video off this call just because we wanted to preserve a little bandwidth, but how did I look attitude-wise? Like, how did I seem?
You seemed good.
Did I look looser?
You looked relaxed. You looked like a significant weight had been lifted from upon your shoulders.
Let me tell you where, just about today alone.
Okay.
Although I am very much on a deadline and there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you about that experience, though. I'm in the middle of the New Forest.
Yeah.
It is a warm, sunny day.
Yeah.
There are 2 dogs visiting in the house. 1 puppy, 1 older dog, 2 little whippets. It's pretty quiet. You know, we're here with Oscar's parents. He's helping them pack up some stuff. And I've been working, so nothing too exciting. But we wake up, it's sunny. It's perfectly quiet and still outside. They come down for our coffee. I step outside and put on some loose jeans and a t-shirt. I decided to wash out some of my clothes. I washed them. I had some little hand wash. I walked outside on the cool flagstones in my bare feet in the breeze, and I hung the clothes while the dogs ran around my feet.
Yeah.
The talk has been of the last couple of days of tennis because Wimbledon was happening. The Euros, so women's soccer, the cricket. So my in-laws love sport, so they're always watching sport. The other day they wanted to watch the end of Wimbledon and they got a little cheese plate, and as part of it we scored the cheeses.
You scored the cheeses. Oh, like you ranked them.
Yeah, we ranked the cheeses while we watched.
You cut little lines on them.
We did that too, Dan. In London, I went to see Superman in the fancy cinema with the sofas where they bring you food.
Ooh.
I've had drinks in the sun. So we've watched sport. We've sat with friends. We've had meals. We've had, we've sat and had drinks with people. Here, it's quiet. I step outside. There's horses one way. There's dogs another. There's cool grass.
Sounds incredible.
The biggest controversy of the day was that the dogs found a little dead vole and they were tossing it around. And I had to say, come on, guys, put down the dead vole. I'll throw you a tennis ball. They're all very aware about the Trump thing, but it's just not present here in the same way because it doesn't have to be. Right. Everyone is completely aware. I mean, they're aware. We had to fill them on a lot of stuff that they were like, holy fuck. We were a tremendous bummer. The first thing we did was kind of scare the shit out of our friends. Like when we saw my friend Alexander, when we arrived on Wednesday night, we're like, let's tell you all about what we just got out of.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is all, he's like, I know most of this, but my God, this is all terrible news. But we had our first morning, we had a cooking class. We did some cooking. We made a thali, like a dish of like many tiny Indian dishes, like some dal and some stir fry. And we made chapatis and bought some books. Took a few days properly off.
Yeah.
And just took in the fresh air, the sunshine. Didn't really check in with the news. I did check in, but not as
Okay.
much. And Dan, I
Mhm.
feel like a new person. I feel like my brain,
I
what I
bet.
thought was permanent damage,
Yeah.
and that maybe I might have to get an MRI or something,
Yeah.
is not permanent damage.
Turns out it's just living in America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Turns out that
Yeah,
they all worry about us.
yeah. I have taken to extended fantasies of leaving. I would say my latest has been really going deep on English narrowboat content,
Mm-hmm.
which are these very thin, 6 feet wide boats that people live on that move around the canal systems of
Yeah.
the UK. I've watched a lot of narrowboating recently.
I think my sister-in-law owned one. Like the family had one, and they sold it, but they had one
Wow.
for a while. Because I know I rode on it once, but people live on them.
I
They
know.
live on these
I know they
narrow,
do.
and some of those canals are like, I don't know, 12 feet wide or something. So
Yeah.
really, they just kind of drift along, and then they kind of set up. They dock, and then often they have cats or dogs on board. There's one person who has a loom, so every time she kind of docks the boat, she gets out her loom and she does her looming, and
I love it. I
not
love
even
it.
just looming. You guys could easily do the narrowboat.
I think that's the thing. It's not far from like it, England doesn't have the kind of trailer culture that America has, because it's not as big and also because they have actual social safety nets, so you don't end up living in a trailer park. You live in a council flat or whatever. But they do have this boating world. I'm into it, Maureen. I got to admit, I'm real into it.
You have a little wood burning stove on there.
Yeah. Yeah, that part seems crazy. It seems wild that you're like actually burning fuel inside a wooden boat. But
You're never more than 4 feet from shore. I mean,
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
like it's pretty much like, where's the shore? It's that you're touching it.
Yeah.
You can always touch it.
I think I could be happy.
Dan, gently navigating the channels of England.
Yeah.
Just making stuff, because you can stop your boat.
Right.
Get out your stuff, like your printers or your little workbench.
Yeah.
Get a folding workbench, unfold your workbench, you sit there, you do your work. You have a little, like, greet people at the pub. You forget the thing I really realize every time I come to England, but I think maybe now more than ever, is that there's more of a communal sense of things.
Yeah.
More of the idea that everybody could be kind of doing something at the same time a little bit. Like Wimbledon is a big fancy tennis event. Like when I told my mother that, she's like,
Yeah.
only the fanciest people, like only fancy people watch it. And I was like, I think kind of like a lot of people watch it. People like to watch a lot of sport. It feels more communal. There's more like, we'll meet and have drinks together. We'll sit and have a meal together. We'll just sit and talk. We'll sit and have a coffee. A little less like we're grabbing coffee while we're doing a thing and then we're grinding. We're just grinding. And that you can actually just be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just like even talking to like Granted, Oscar's family is fancier than mine. Like, we can't get away from the fact that there is a class issue. But I was like, yeah, I was like, because my nephew's kind of getting his first part-time job, and he's 18, and it's super part-time. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I remember I had my first job when I was 14. I was like, that's when I went to work at Burger King. Like, as one does. I was like, by 18, or 19, how many, I was like, smoking 3 cigarettes going, how many jobs have I had? What haven't I done? Just,
I mean, that isn't just a class issue, though. As a parent of a former teenager, the age with which one seeks out a job, even in the United States, is older than it used to be. Because, yeah, I got a work permit at 14 as well. Mm-hmm. But ain't nobody getting a job at 14 anymore.
Well, you say that, Dan, but we're bringing back child labor. Woo!
Well, that's true. That's true.
Finish my
Tell me more. Tell me more about The Good Place, Maureen.
Again, they all love the stories of healthcare.
Yeah.
Like the fact that
did you get your foot dealt with over there?
No, not yet. I couldn't. We haven't really been anywhere too long yet. We kind of were 2 days here, then 1 day here, and we're in the middle of the forest. So
yeah,
But I checked again. I did get messages that was like, oh no, the new claim was also rejected, and the doctor wants you to come back when you get back, and we'll try to do some other crazy thing to like get this. Because I did wear a different pair of shoes other than sneakers, and immediately like the nerve pain started again. And I was like, I guess I can just wear sneakers forever, thanks to this great insurance of mine that won't let me have a cortisol shot. If you're listening, my insurance, the shit is cheap, okay? Like, really, just let me have the fucking shot. The doctor says this is the only treatment for it. Like, it's so simple. Just let me have the fucking shot. I would be able to walk on my entire foot again, not just on the one side of it, the whole foot. Imagine. It's been 6 months of this. I guess one doesn't get a whole foot, but, just describing to them like, oh, now we pay $1,500 a month for insurance. But when all this comes to pass next year, we're going to have to pay $25.
Yeah.
And we're
perfect.
And then we got to explain to them the idea of out-of-pocket costs and deductibles. They're like, okay, so you pay that and then everything's paid for. I was like, my friend.
Oh, no. Yeah.
My lovely summer child. No, that just enters you into a table of costs. So that means that according to that plan that you buy, then used to be that our if we had to ride in an ambulance, it was $500. But I think on this plan, it's like $100. And they're like, what do you mean pay for an ambulance? I was like, well, yes, there's so much to tell you. And that there's a cost for everything. And that then there's like a maximum out of pocket. I'm like, oh, then it caps off at like basically $7,500 on this plan. But then there's like, because we got the good one. So we only have to pay $7,500. And they're like, and then they just kind of their jaws get a little loose. And they're like, nothing could possibly work like this. And we're like, oh, it really does. I know it sounds like an urban legend, but it's actually this terrible.
Yeah.
And they're like, but you just go to the doctor. They're so used to it. These lovely people are just like, you just go to the doctor.
Yeah. I, like a month or so ago, I was the interviewer for a author and photographer named Craig Maude, who came through town with his book. And he lives in Japan. He's lived in Japan for a long time. And one of the things that he talked about that has stuck with me is he was talking about, just I can't remember the name of the town, but like a not notable small Japanese city that, if you aren't in Japan, you don't really know anything about. And he told the story. I wish I could remember the name of this town. But anyway, he, at some point, how the New York Times every year does the like places to visit in your next year or whatever. He got asked by them to write something up. So he wrote about this town, and his whole deal with this town was it's just this like sort of town that nobody thinks about, but it's full of like really interesting cafes and like cool hip bars, and, everything is just kind of awesome there. And so he wrote about it, and it became the number 2 pick on this New York Times list. And so he became sort of a minor hero within this town, where he got invited there, and he met the mayor, and then the mayor was like, "I'm so glad you're here for the press conference." And he's like, "The what?" And then they just push him into a room, and it's full of reporters who want to talk to him about this town. Anyway, he was like, the thing about Japan and why there are so many, he was like, there's bars that you'll go to that have 10 seats, and the bartender has just one era of Detroit soul records, and he'll just play them, and people will come. He's like, or there'll be cafes that are super niche, or stores that cater to very specific niche wants. And he's like, and the reason that people can do that is because they don't have to pay for healthcare, and their housing costs are really low. And so you can just do things that in the States are just too risky to do, that they wouldn't work, because the floor that you have to earn is so high. And more than I think about that all the time lately. It's just the floor is so high, and it's about to get higher, and yeah, same deal is true in the UK. I mean, they have a lot of other cost problems right now,
They do.
but they don't got to think about, oh, I need to pay $2,500 a month for my health insurance.
I will tell you that right now I'm leaning out the bedroom window, and there are no screens. So I'm literally leaning out into the fresh open air. I'm looking down onto a giant flowering plant, which is absolutely covered with butterflies. Just peaceful butterflies and bees. There's a number of bees there too. And just the number of shaggy, beautiful plants all over this garden. I'm watching the birds, but just butterflies for days, just peacefully going from flower to flower, Dan. Just, I don't know if you can hear the soft, can you hear the soft breeze, Dan? Can you hear it?
Sounds less soft through that microphone, but yeah.
Sorry, I'll lean in. It's just, I wanted some fresh, beautiful air. I wanted you guys to have it too, and know that it's possible. But I feel, and that, I don't know if you had the same kind of upbringing, because my parents were super patriotic. Yes. I always describe my house as the one that looks like it's where the parade stops. We were the first family to own their own bunting. That was not a thing. We were like, how can we source some bunting? So our house was fully bunted. We looked like we were going to hand out trophies. And, I was trained on the flag. You don't let the flag touch the ground, and all that the flag stuff. Very, very patriotic. And I was always told, best country in the world. Everybody's jealous of us. That's why they're so mad all the time, is that they're just real jealous because we're doing it. We're just crushing it. Best healthcare system, best everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was told was so good about us, because Schoolhouse Rock, I love it still.
Yeah.
Has a couple problems. But in general, some solid stuff.
Can you move the microphone slightly further away from your face?
What do you mean, Dan?
All your P's are very.
Look, if I tried to put that little fuzzy thing on, it snaps on. It's a real pain in the ass.
Okay.
But we were taught that the whole thing that was great about America, and it was great, which is so cool, is that we the melting pot. We take everybody in. The whole point is that we are a nation of other people, because we stole it, and then but we're all from somewhere else. Yeah. Aside from the people that were here, which we're not talking about, but that's what's great, is that you give us you're hungry, you're tired, you're poor, Statue of Liberty, etc.
Yeah.
And that was so embedded as part of our character that when you play the nationalist game, when you play the fascist game, we're in a unique position to be this country of we're all from somewhere else, except for the Native Americans that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Then it's hard to play the them and us game, because
Yeah.
if your whole thing is built upon the greatness of otherness,
Yeah.
then how are you going to square that circle?
Yeah.
And it's calling into question, who the fuck are we? And the bill of goods that
Mhm.
we've been sold so many times throughout our lives. Certainly I was. As again, then I told you, as a small child stuck inside on indoor recess, I would sit at my desk quietly writing patriotic poetry. I mean, Dan.
Our childhoods could hardly have been more different. I've been going through various things at my parents' house because it's no one lives there anymore. And one of the things that I just found was like the photo album of all the anti-Vietnam protests they went to in the 70s. Like there was just like photograph after photograph of them and flyers, um and that was very much kind of my upbringing. Was they sort of found their political voice in protesting the Vietnam War. So that was that we did not have any bunting. In fact, I very distinctly remember I think in high school when my dad flew an American flag and my mom was like, "I can't believe he just did that. I what's going on? He flew an American flag?" Like, because that was just not a thing that happened at our house. I still don't remember why he did. Maybe he just got over it by then. It was 20 years later or whatever.
To be where I am now, to be this kind of person, I came pretty far because I come from that kind of background. And then I really credit the fact that I went to a Catholic school and wasn't Catholic as my first glimpse of, I was always a little suspicious of stuff, but I was always like, but if I say any different, I'll get in trouble. So, and like, I figure it must be right, because we can go to the doctor and we have like air conditioning and ice.
Yeah.
That was a lot of it, is like, we have ice, large drinks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But to really start voicing when I did, I used to get in so much fucking trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, so much. Never not in trouble. Never not in trouble. But I mean, my mom has come a long way, but she's now like, she's on board. Like, she has come. She was never like a hard ass. She was just sheltered. And her father was like a lovely man who was also a war vet. He had been in both the First and Second World Wars. So she had a very rosy notion of like people that just are trying to do the right thing, very like,
yeah.
And she went to nursing school and basically never went out. Like, she just was like, well, you just take care of everybody. That's just the thing. You just always take care of everybody. And that's what we're just trying to do. And it took a while before she was like, oh, there's a lot of people that aren't really being taken care of. Yeah. And we must never, ever differentiate about who you give care to. You always give care. Dad, more of a hard ass, more of a Fox viewer still. But it's funny. I said, even my dad, who voted for Trump, I'm like, here's the kicker. He's also telling us to leave the country. Make of that what you will.
Good. Perfect.
It's like he knows. The thing is that he knows things are bad. But when you ask him if any would do otherwise, he just says Biden, Biden, Biden over again. Really, that's not a joke or anything. He goes Biden, Biden, but Biden, Biden. And I'm like, why are you just saying Biden? Like it's a weird spell. Your cat, like Biden. Like, is Biden in the room with us now? Like, is this like the new Beetlejuice? What's happening? But anyway, Dan, I can't feel any of that over the soft, like the sunlight that's just touching the tops of the trees. I can see. And because here's the one thing, England, I got one note. They'll change your fucking life. Are you ready for it, England? Window screens, England. You'd be amazed. You don't have to have flies inside. You just don't. You don't have to have moths inside at night, and you can have a light on and a window open, and they won't come in because window screen. Magic. They just are
I
not in.
remember years and years ago, I think I was in high school, we visited, I had an uncle who actually served in the Vietnam War, became so disillusioned that he immediately moved to England and never came back to the United States. And he, had a whole family over there, and he lived in a very rural part of England. And we went and visited when I was in high school, and the big news was that they, at great expense, had just installed a shower.
Yep.
And neighbors came over to look at the shower, right?
Yeah.
And it was easily the worst shower I'd ever taken. It was like, you had to pull this string, and then it was like, and then sort of just like a spit of water would come from overhead every now and then. It was terrible, but they were it was the talk of the town. It was the talk of the town, that said, until a little bit later in the same day when the church steeple across the street from them did their bell ringing, and someone forgot to let go of the rope at the moment and got pulled up and then dropped from the, much higher up in the bell tower, and they had to get an ambulance over there real quick.
Oh, bell ringing.
So then everyone kind of forgot about the shower. Yeah, you got to let go of that rope. That shit'll pull you way right up.
There's a Dorothy L. Sayers mystery called The Nine Tailors, which is about, there's a technical word for bell ringing. It's like I don't know what it is because I don't give a shit about bell ringing, but it's a lot about bell ringing patterns and bell, like there's this like the code, like the bell ringing patterns and codes, and someone gets murdered in a bell tower, but it's very technical. See, this is when every once in a while when I get here, I feel like I'm like, oh, shucks, here I am again. I don't know nothing about nothing. I don't know. I don't know the rules of cricket. I don't know the rules of tennis, really. Barely the rules of soccer. Does anyone know
the rules of cricket, really?
Andy Zaltzman and a number of other people, like my entire family. They're like, well, if you hit the wicket, then you do this. And I'm like, but why? And I'm like, why is the ball going behind him? And they're like, the ball can go anywhere. And I'm like, oh, God. That they know the rules to every sport because they've all played every sport, and they really watch. They love watching sports. Which they call sport.
Sport.
They call maths, but sports, sport. Don't ask me.
It's true.
But it's just the stuff I don't know about, the slightly fancy stuff. Rules of horse riding, one goes where, they're not like the fanciest, but my mother-in-law was on the cover of Horse and Hound once. So
wow, Horse and Hound. Yes.
She said she was out riding in a photographer.
Horse and Hound cover girl. Maureen's in-law.
It was a long time ago. She said basically she was riding one day and a photographer more or less leapt out of the bushes and took her picture. And she ended up on the cover of Horse and Hound. She's like, yeah, he just kind of sprang out. Yeah.
For being such a good horse rider.
She is a very good horse rider. She grew up horsey, and they do have 2 horses, and she used to run a livery stable, so she knows her horses.
Wow.
And was out, and there are 2 horses out there right now that she was taking. Like she still, I went out and saw and said hello to them, Rainbow and Bo Peep. One Rainbow needs to take medicine, and she wouldn't take it, and so the vet said, "You know what you do? You put the medicine inside a Marmite sandwich and feed it to her." And so every day she's been getting a Marmite sandwich, and she loves it.
Wow.
Yep. So Dan, I'm in the territory
Marmite
of feeding.
As horse feed makes sense.
I love Marmite. Love it. Delicious. So good. Dan, are you in a place where they're feeding ponies Marmite sandwiches? Because I am.
I'm not. I wish that I was.
I'm drinking a cup of tea. I don't know nothing about nothing.
A situation where you were over there feeding a horse a Marmite sandwich, and then suddenly, chugga, 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 you saw me in the distance suddenly chugging along in a boat, And then the boat moves so slow that you're then getting sort of annoyed as I'm slowly creeping up closer to you. And then it's still chugging, and eventually you just leave. But it would have been fun to have seen you. The boats move so slow. Janice at one point was like, the thing that I really like about the idea of these boats is that I could get out of the boat and go on a run and then wait at the pub until you eventually chug up to the pub.
Oh, and wait a while.
Yeah, wait a long while. They move incredibly slowly.
They move much slower than you walk.
Yeah.
That's again, this is why you're never more than 4 feet from land, and you are moving at just a solid 1.5 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
You're not going fast. People just can walk right alongside you and talk while you're on your boat. It's just not a problem.
Have to stop and wait every now and then.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll catch up in a second.
Oh, I'm watching beautiful. Dan, this has been Says Who. I'm just watching birds loop and fly, and glad there's nothing else. Nothing else.
Well, unfortunately, there is other stuff, Maureen. The first one is that we are in perhaps the mother of all let them fight situations, where suddenly various factions of the MAGA cult are fighting with each other over the Jeffrey Epstein files. I want the record to state something here, Maureen. I think there's nothing I'm less interested in than the Jeffrey Epstein story.
What?
I just don't give a fuck. He seems like a horrible person. I'm glad he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Fair. The rest of it just feels like a minefield of conspiracy theory shit that I don't need to occupy my brain with. But I will admit that it is a whole cottage industry for a lot of people, right? Yep. The all of it, and that the kind of center point of all of that is Trump's whole cult, right? Like this checks, like, remember that the MAGA cult really started around the idea of child trafficking at the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place in Washington, D.C., right? That then gave birth to QAnon, which is all about sort of human trafficking and everything like that. And so Epstein just flows directly into the sort of extended fantasies that these people were already writing. Like, I get that. So in the last couple of weeks, they have basically said there's nothing to see here in terms of the Epstein stuff. And very specifically, they've said they don't have a client list, which previously all these fuckers kind of claimed existed and blah, blah, blah. And so that has created, as best I can tell, has created a massive rift within this world, including Dan Bongino, noted right-wing podcaster, who is the deputy director of the FBI. So Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, both, Kash Patel being the head of the FBI, they both traffic heavily in Epstein stuff back when they were just podcasters. In fact, there's a clip that has been played kind of endlessly of Kash Patel before he was the director of the FBI, saying that he knew full well that Epstein's client list was being held by the director of the FBI, right? So it kind of broke a big rift between Pam Bondi, the attorney general, and then these FBI goons. And Dan Bongino went so far as to not go into work on Friday because he was so torn up about all this.
Aww.
And so yesterday, CNN wrote, several of President Donald Trump's top officials went to work on Monday with a key question unanswered. Would Dan Bongino show up? Hours later, two sources familiar with the matter confirmed he did, but his long-term future as deputy director of the FBI appeared uncertain. Bongino did not go into the office Friday and largely excommunicated himself from most of his colleagues after a major fallout with Attorney General Pam Bondi over the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. As of Monday morning, no one in leadership at the Justice Department has spoken to Bongino since Wednesday, when he implied that he could no longer continue in his position as long as Bondi was there. The threat infuriated Trump, who spent the weekend fuming over both Bongino and FBI Director Kash Patel. Most of his fury was directed at Bongino, causing aides to expect that the deputy director would depart his job in the coming days. But Vice President J.D. Vance spent the weekend attempting to mediate, at times fielding calls from Patel, Bongino, and Bondi, sources said. Well,
I mean, this has been a real shit show.
A true shit show.
True, like, you just want to step aside and let them do this one. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Tear yourselves apart.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it, you nut jobs. Have fun.
Yeah. Trump keeps kind of issuing. I mean, I guess the other thing, and I like this, you don't need to be, unless you were living under a rock, you know that there is a great deal of photographic and video evidence of Donald Trump hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and very young women for years and years and years and years, right? So he keeps basically being like, there's nothing there, everyone needs to just get over it. And the more he does it, the more you go, is what's happening here? But yeah, his whole thing, he went on his fucking Truth Social thing and did a whole big all caps telling everyone to cool it, basically, that there's nothing here. Nobody needs to be fighting. Everyone gets, chill out. Which has
the Streisand effect at work.
Yeah. Yeah, remarkably so.
Well,
meanwhile,
it does seem to be the one thing. We're like, what will actually bother them? Turns out this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you make your entire personality that you're against imagined child trafficking, and then you're faced with a real child trafficking situation, it does at least give you pause. I generally don't believe that this will blow anything up, because I think that these cultists will ultimately move along because they're being told to move along by the head of the cult, but it has been entertaining to watch.
I'm surprised they haven't just written their own list and been like, here's a list. And it's just like
Bill Clinton. The whole list is just Bill Clinton and Bill Gates. Have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems to be, for whatever reason, the non-obvious decision on their part, but it sure seems like the obvious decision. All these people were all hot for it when they thought it was just sort of, Democratic Party heads and things like that. So, yeah, it does feel like they could just manufacture that, get everything back to normal. Dad.
How could they possibly have thought that when there was, in fact, literally so much video footage and photographic footage and interview footage of Trump and Epstein together, and Trump saying things like, this is my good friend, he likes him young, maybe a little too young. Like, that was all out in the world. So
yeah,
did they ever stop and think, hey, maybe these two might be connected? I realize we're not talking about the smartest people in the room, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, we are not, in fact, talking about the smartest people in the room, which is why it's so infuriating that in the last week, the Supreme Court has ruled without any explanation in two different cases that Trump has carte blanche, essentially, to dismantle the government.
Wait, what?
Oh, have you not heard about this? You've been in England. I'm sorry. Let's back up. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein. Hey.
What?
So if you remember, Maureen, back in the early days of Doge and the sort of mass firing of various government agencies, and almost all of those mass firings, most recent of which was the Department of Education, were blocked by injunctions from courts because immediately unions and other states and everything like that sued to say, hey, you can't just dismantle agencies that were created by Congress. You can't dismantle them by fiat as the executive branch. And so there have been injunctions. And so those injunctions were first put in place by district judges, and then they were reinforced by appeals courts, by U.S. appeals courts. And then they got pushed up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, and this has been true repeatedly. So the Trump administration keeps filing emergency, hearings with the Supreme Court. And by and large, the Supreme Court ends up siding with the administration in what's called the shadow docket, which means they aren't actually holding real hearings. They're sort of hearing the basics, and then they're deciding whether or not they're going to hear the case, right? And if they aren't going to hear the case, they might just quickly decide, okay, yeah, we're going to lift this injunction, right? But they don't actually have to explain why. And so twice this week, without any explanation as to why, they have lifted these injunctions. The most recently was the Department of Education, which yesterday they said, okay, yeah, we're going to lift this injunction. Now, here's the fucking stupid game part of it, Maureen. These injunctions are in place to say, hey, don't fire anyone while we are moving these trials forward to decide whether or not it's illegal to fire everyone, right?
Right.
And what the Supreme Court is saying is, hey, you know what? The legality of this hasn't been decided, but in the process, yeah, you can go ahead and do this on a temporary basis. You can fire everyone. And then if in 2 years from now, or however long it takes these cases to move all the way forward, it is decided that this is an illegal action, you, I guess, somehow put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Sure.
It is a remarkably stupid game. It's cynical as shit. And yeah, it means that the Department of Ed is going to come apart. A number of other agencies are going to come apart. The State Department just fired a whole ton of people from that as well. It's good stuff. Stay, Maureen. What I'm saying is stay.
There are birds gently drifting by the window.
They are. But on a better note, I'm going to read you a headline. This has to do with sport.
Okay.
So very recently, this past weekend, there's been a thing happening in the United States called the FIFA Club World Cup, which is a brand new competition among what is supposed to be the top football, that is soccer clubs around the world. It's an attempt by the FIFA organization to kind of capture the furor of the World Cup, which is national teams competing against each other. And get a bunch of people to show up to see big clubs play. And it's been held in the United States. And the final just happened this past weekend. And I want to read you this headline, which is, Trump kept FIFA Club World Cup trophy for himself, leaving champions Chelsea to lift a replica.
He stole it.
Yeah.
He stole their trophy.
So this is apparently the story. Well, so first of all, one of the things that happens in soccer when you win a big trophy, right? And for those of you unfamiliar, like, soccer is very different than American sports. You don't have playoffs and that sort of thing. You have, in a normal league play, you just have, the team that wins, right? There's no playoff to get. The first place team wins, and they win a trophy. There are also a bunch of things called cups that happen throughout. And when you win a cup, it's a big trophy, right? There's a big thing called the trophy lift, where the team gets in on a little stage in the middle of the field, and, whoever the captain is lifts the trophy high above their head. And there's fireworks go off and everything like that. Like, the trophy lift is a huge, long thing. this Club World Cup, which we'll get to why the Club World Cup itself is fucking weird in the first place. But the team that won was Chelsea from London. They get to the trophy lift and fucking Donald Trump is standing in the middle of this stage. It doesn't leave and almost tries to lift the trophy himself, right? Like it's there are all these photos of like Chelsea players looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, because typically you have sort of the honorary people will put little medals on each player and then they'll leave the stage and then the club lifts the cup, right? But this man did not leave the stage. But it then turned out later that that wasn't even the real trophy because, and this is his explanation that he gave, he said FIFA President Gianni Infantino visited the White House along with the trophy in March. Quote, they said, could you hold this trophy for a little while? We put it in the Oval Office, Trump said. And then I said, when are you going to pick up the trophy? He says, we're never going to pick it up. You can have it forever in the Oval Office. We're making a new one. And they actually made a new one. So that was quite exciting. It's in the Oval Office right now, he added. So let me explain something about FIFA President Gianni Infantino. He loves nothing more than kissing up to dictators.
Oh, it's a
like
big...
he fucking
loves it.
Yeah, he loves it. And he's good at it.
The man has a skill.
Because
even I know this.
What dictators want are big shows, right? That they can say, I brought this to you, right? And he has played, and so like Saudi Arabia, for instance, right? Like this dude has played Saudi Arabia to pay for all kinds of shit and everything. And he's done the same fucking thing to Donald Trump. Like, oh, here's a trophy. Why don't you just hang on to this for a little while? Right. And then like, oh, no, you know what? You just have it. Oh, yeah. Why don't you come to the actual thing? He also, by the way, got booed majorly by the folks that showed up to this thing. But
you mean Trump?
But yeah, all of this is because the U.S. is supposed to be hosting the World Cup next year. The actual World Cup, the thing that people care about. The other thing about the Club World Cup is that it's fucking just been invented out of nowhere. And Chelsea, who won, so the idea was it was like the winning team in leagues around the world. Chelsea did not win shit for years. So how they even ended up in this, I still don't understand. But they're a big club. Right. So really, it's about like what are big soccer clubs that we might be able to sell tickets for. Also, they barely sold any tickets in the United States because nobody gives a fuck about soccer. Fake trophy. They had to hoist a fake trophy because they gave the real one to Donald Trump.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think they gave it to him or did he take it?
I certainly believe the can you hang on to this for a minute part, right? Like that feels very much like this dude's MO of like, I'm going to make a big trophy and then I'm going to just leave it in your house. And then I think you're going to know like it was never coming out of there. And he knew that, right?
Right.
Like,
you don't lend the man things.
No, and not a big shiny trophy that's just sitting there where he can look at it, you know, like, so I think he knew all along that it was not coming back. But it's also pretty amazing that they just were like, have a big trophy. It's a big trophy too.
It's big. And also, Dan, I've always said you can't lend anybody ice cream. You know what I mean? That's a one-way situation. So you don't just lend Donald Trump a gold trophy.
No.
That's a one-way situation.
Don't. And I think this man knows what he's doing. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Especially because the U.S. is supposed to, the World Cup next year is, I think, being hosted in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Like, it's a North America situation.
I'm sure people will be really excited about coming here.
Yes. Well, I think that's part of it, right? Like this man needs to get the dictator to say that we're not going to just suddenly arrest a bunch of players and fans. which they certainly will, and which happened at the Club World Cup. So, yeah, he needs to get the dick. This man, by the way, not a good dude.
He needs to get the dick,
dude.
right? That's what you just said. He needs to get the dick.
He needs to get the dick. I believe, now that I think about it, FIFA, this is another, yeah. So FIFA opened their New York office in Trump Tower.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this shit couldn't be more obvious, the game he's playing.
I mean, Dan, we're supposed to host the Olympics in what, 3 years?
Just a few years from now in Los Angeles.
Yeah. That's going to go great.
Which currently has, troops marching around.
Yeah.
Just cuz.
Dan, I just want to say this out loud. We are 6 months. This half-year situation, we have 8 half years of Trump, of which we have completed
half years.
We have completed 1. So we are 1/8 of the way through this in this scenario. And the Summer Olympics would be taking place around the mark of the beginning of the final 1/8.
It's when are they?
Oh, June,
when
July.
Are they now?
2028?
I'm looking this up now. Summer Olympic Games. Oh my God, what the hell am I even looking at?
Dad slowly having a nervous breakdown. I'm looking at birds.
I hate information.
I think it's 2028, isn't it?
No, it's. It is amazing to fucking me how Google has decided, you know what I should do? I should take our one product and fucking destroy it. I typed Summer Olympics 2026 into Google. It first popped the stupid ass people also ask lines, right? After not giving me information, because the top level AI overview is about the 2026 Winter Olympics. Even though I typed Summer Olympics 2026. The very first thing is telling me about the fucking 2026 AI overview. So then I clicked into Wikipedia, which was too confusing for me because my brain no longer works. So then I click into the question, who is hosting the Olympics in 2026? And all it tells me is the 2026 Winter Olympics. And then there's this question. Where are the 2026 Summer Olympics going to be held? That's a pretty clear question. AI overview. The 2026 Winter Olympics will be held in Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy. That's not the fucking question I asked.
That's because it's 2028.
My fucking God, but I didn't, I mean, come on. I only did that because I typed Summer Olympics and then it was like 2026. It was the autocomplete. I fucking hate the world.
I'm going to really nail this in, Dan. It is specifically July 14th, 2028 to the 30th of July, 2028, which means it will be almost exactly the beginning of that final 6-month period.
Yeah, it'll be the election season.
It'll be election season, and we will have had this thing that we went through. We'll have had 6 more of those.
I don't need that. The way you are timing this. So you're saying you're counting this by every 6 months. Here's another way. We only have 3 more Junes with this man. That sounds better. Let's look at that way.
Okay. Imagine what America's going to look like in 2028.
I don't want to imagine that. I want to be on a fucking boat in England by then. I really do.
Los Angeles is the kind of, what's the movie where they all go to Gastown? Mad Max?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think people are really going to want to come to this country in 2028?
I don't even think people will be able to.
There's that. I mean, people have gone to tough places.
I mean, remember, Nazi Germany hosted the Olympics.
Nazi Germany did it. I mean, it's been done. But that was before they had started a war. They were just a bunch of fucking Nazis.
True.
That some people were kind of on board with.
Yeah, definitely.
And there was less media, so maybe people didn't fully understand what exactly it was, the little funny stuffs that were going on in Germany.
Yeah.
So I believe that was 1933, but no, 34, something like that, because it wouldn't have been 33. I think 34.
Well, I mean, I was going to type it into
38?
Google, but what's the point?
It was either 34 or 38.
36. It was, in fact, it was 36.
Really? Okay. 36,
Yeah.
right in the middle. Okay.
I'm looking at the Holocaust Encyclopedia. So I'll believe that.
More reliable than Google.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dan, I'm just saying we'll be that much further along. What kind of conversations you and I in this midsummer of 28 are going to be exchanging tips on what kind of roaches burn the longest.
Yeah.
What did you make fire of today, Dan? Me today, I made fire out of leftovers of library. We'll have caveman.
You'll be feeding a horse Marmite, and I'll be chugging a little boat slowly towards you.
We actually do have to go feed the ponies Marmite soon, and then I have to walk a puppy down a forest path.
Well, on that note, Says Who is made possible by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon, where you can get this all over again. Who wouldn't want that?
I'm sending you
the $5 or $10 a month level. That $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail. Every month, you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. Our theme music was performed by Ted Leo. Thank you, Ted. Our logo was designed by Darth. You can contact us at SaysWhoPodcast.com on Blue Sky or at SaysWho at omfg.town on Mastodon. You can always email it. Hey, that's HEY at SaysWhoPodcast.com. You can also join the discussion on Facebook at /group/SaysWhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. Thanks, Janice. If you want to join the fan, you just sent me a link.
I want you to see
if you want to join the fan run Discord server, what are we looking at?
I want you to first of all, it says it's opening in 36 months, if that helps you. But I want you to look at the graphic for it.
Yeah, the LA 28. The A is, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know. You're conflicted. I thought you might be.
I wouldn't hate it if the A was slightly smaller.
Right?
Yeah, it's just feels a little bit wrong. Slapped on. Yeah, it's a little bit wrong. I wonder who designed that. Because it probably was designed by someone that knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
LA Olympics logo.
You ever want to distract Dan to steal his stuff? Just get him looking up a font, and you can do you could break into his house.
That's true.
Wow, the designer.
So here's the trick, Maureen.
Yeah.
This is the trick. It is I'm going to throw this to you. It is actually a modular logo that is designed to have a bunch of different things as the A. So that they've chosen a particularly ugly A. Though now that I look at it, they're all a little bit weird, but I at least get the concept.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a couple that really look like they have been designed by AI, which I would imagine.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I think my gut is they probably hired a bunch of different artists and things to make these, but who knows? Yeah, they come from over 20 residents of LA. There you go.
All
right. It's less terrible than I thought. It felt off, and that would explain why it felt off, because each one is going to feel a little different. Anyway, spread the word, subscribe, leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you listen, and you can join us next Wednesday, July 23rd. This month is chugging along like a canal boat for our very next episode. From my basement in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker.
And from here in England, where I'm holding a copy of the Epstein files, I stole them and I brought them with me here in an attempt to lure it's a trap. I'm trying to lure them over, and then I'm going to give them some tea that makes them sleepy, and then I'm going to lead them out into the forest. There you go. It's not a great plan.
It's not a great plan.
I could feed them to ponies.
Feels like England's the real loser in all of this plan.
Pretty soon, the wild blackberries will bloom all over the place, Dan, and they'll be like basically all the blackberries you can eat because all the bushes will be thick with them, thick with blackberries, Dan. You could just sit in the sun and eat free blackberries, forest blackberries, and watch the wild horses go by. That could be life, Dan.
I mean, it sounds incredible.
But why not stay in America, grind, pay all your money on health insurance, not get any treatment?
When you put it like that, it sounds even worse.
It does seem like if you're going to pay that much, should be some sort of like guarantee that you'll get a treatment for that because that's so much money.
You would think. Yeah.
Like you'll get a guaranteed free doctor's appointment for $2,500.
Seems
but there is in
reasonable.
fact, that is in fact not what's going to happen. I think
on that note,
well, gotta go.
This has been Says Who.
It's almost wine o'clock.
I wish.
I gotta go feel the grass under my feet outside, Dan. I carry this with me when I go back to New York. I'll be like, remember that time you walked on grass with bare feet? Yeah, you touched grass. You touched grass, man.
Incredible.
You touched grass. The city is so great. So a little swampy right now, of course. And sure, like the subways are a little bit of a log flume ride, but you're going to have that. Spin Says Who.
I think we already did that part.
Everything. I know. Yes. Relax. You relaxed, Dan?
No.